Fellow students, once again, we're going to be going over another midterm review. This is going to be going on chapter 4. This is unit 3 in the course sequence. This is talking about collecting data. Here's the bit.ly link for those of you that need the handout. Let's get started. Whole bunch of terms, whole bunch of types of sampling techniques, types of experimental design. Again, stuff I'm not going to sit here and read through you because you can do that on your own, but here's some information in pages from the book you can go back and review. Pause the video if you need to write anything down or highlight things that are useful for you. There's 3 of these slides for this information. So I'm going to go to the next one now. Here's some more talking about different types of way to get data, voluntary response, convenience sampling, experimental design techniques, comparison, random assignment, control, replication. Being able to tell the difference between an experiment and an observational study is important. All right, I'm going to move to the next slide. Finally, talking about ways to control an experiment. So completely randomized designs, block designs, matched pairs, and using scope of inference to make some sort of determination about a population or generalization for cause and effect. All right, let's do a few problems. I don't have a whole lot on this video, to be honest with you, so it's going to be pretty short. I could certainly do more with you. I just don't have a lot included on this particular review, and so I'm going to keep the video short to accommodate for that. All right, here is a question. It's a multiple choice question. A professor at a large university plans to conduct a study to compare the effect of online texts versus regular printed text on student learning. If the findings are to be generalized to all students at the university, which of the following must be the part of the design? So in order to generalize to a larger population, you are required to randomly sample from that population. You can't do a voluntary response. You're not necessarily needing to do an experiment and show cause and effect. A generalization means, can you make an inference about a larger population from random sampling? So I would maybe have you write this down. To generalize from a population, you must randomly sample from that population. Knowing that information, go through your answer choices and see if you can find the appropriate thing that would go along with that. Let me read those out. A, the students in the study should have experience using online and regular texts. That's not necessarily needed. B, the students in the study should be a random sample from the population of students at the university. That's required, so that's going to be your answer. C, the students should be allowed to choose which type of text they would like to use so that different learning styles are taken into consideration. That's not a good way to do comparisons. D, the professor should collect data from all students in the population before generalizing results. It's going to be impossible to collect data from all students. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So that's why we do sampling. E, only volunteer students should be used in the study because they are more likely to be active participants. That's not necessarily true. If you're trying to get some information, you don't need volunteers necessarily to get good results. However, in an experiment, you're likely going to get volunteers for the majority of your things, and experiments only show cause and effect. They don't generalize to a larger population unless you're randomly sampling from that population. So the answer is going to be B. We want a random sample from the population to generalize to that population. Next question. Here we have another multiple choice question. Let me read it to you guys. A researcher randomly selected 30 people to participate in a study to investigate which of 2 materials, A or B, used in the heels of sneakers will last longer. The researcher is considering 2 design types for the study. Design 1. Randomly assign 15 participants to wear sneakers with material A on their left feet and material B on their right feet. The remaining participants will wear sneakers with material B on their left feet and material A on their right feet. What kind of an experiment is that? Looks like each person's doing both treatments and they're comparing. Number 2, randomly assign 15 participants to wear sneakers with material A on both feet and the remaining participants will wear sneakers with material A on both feet. See, those people are not getting two different treatments. They're just getting one, but they are randomly assigned to which treatment they're going to use. The issue with that, of course, could be there might be unequal wear and tear. So it's good to have both feet compared for each person because different people, they walk differently and they have different wear and tear on their shoes. So if you haven't identified them yet, that first one would be considered a matched pairs. Each person used both treatments. And that second one is what we just call a good old-fashioned, completely randomized design. So which one is that going to be? Oops. That's going to be design 1 is a matched pairs, design 2 is a completely randomized design. That will be this one right here. All right, on to the next and last question in this video. Question 10. An Atlanta school district wants to compare the effectiveness of a standard AP statistics curriculum and a new hands-on AP statistics curriculum. Two experienced teachers, Mrs. Davis and Mr. Cohen, each teach one class with a standard curriculum and one with the new approach. Students are assigned at random to these 4 classes. At the end of the year, all students take the AP statistics exam. List the following. The treatment. Well, there's 2 things we're given. We're either given the regular curriculum or the one that's more hands-on. So the 2 treatments are going to be the type of curriculum, standard versus hands-on. The experimental unit, that's you guys. You guys would be the ones taking the class, the students in those classes, specifically the students in Mrs. Davis and Mr. Cohen's classes. And there's 2 classes each, either each doing one of both. So the students randomly assigned in the 4 stats classes are the experimental unit. The response variable, well, what are we trying to get out of that? How do they do in the class? How do they do on the exam? That's what we're trying to measure. So the response would be their success in the class, particularly probably in this case on the AP exam. That concludes our collecting data unit and chapter. I know I didn't go over a lot on here, but there is quite a few example problems in the chapter review in chapter 4 if you need some more guidance on that. And feel free to go into AP Classroom and do those multiple choice and free response questions in Unit 3 as well to help solidify that information. Thanks for watching.